Has happened in the world of sports and culture recently. There's a lot to talk about, and we got about 15 minutes. Probably going to do a two-part episode today, but we got about 15 minutes. Okay, first thing I want to discuss is more on the sports side of things, the AFC divisional. So let's look at what we've seen for the past weekend. The Bills was eliminated by the Broncos, and Patriots eliminated the Texans. CJ Stroud played terrible. We have the Bears losing to the Rams in quite a competitive matchup. A lot more competitive than I think people thought would be, but the Rams ended up edging it out in overtime with a go-ahead field goal. So let's talk about that. Okay, so Broncos versus Bills was a very confusing game. I think if you're a Bills fan, because honest to God, the Bills had n- all the opportunity in the world to do it this year. I'm not saying win the Super Bowl because it's very hard to win the Super Bowl because I don't think any team in the AFC is going to beat the team in the NFC. I'll just say that right now. I don't think there's any AFC team that can beat a team in the NFC. I know people are looking at the Patriots, and basically the Patriots have a go ahead to the Super Bowl, but also I do not see that. I don't have a confidence in just how the Patriots have played this season against teams under 500. They've had a pretty much easy schedule, bar none. I don't see them going ahead and just being able to beat a team in the NFC because the NFC has been very scrappy this year. By no thanks of the world, it's been a very scrappy year for the NFC. But Josh Allen in the game against the against the Broncos went 25 for 39. He had 283 passing yards. He had three passing touchdowns, two interceptions, and two fumbles. Okay, that's four turnovers overall. Trying to look at the next game gen stats. Basically, he did not play well. He did not play well. I think he only went maybe 50 below a little 50% on his passes. Not really knowing 100% of the math on that, but he didn't play that good. He did not play that good against the Broncos, which is very confusing if you're the Bills and if you're a and if you've been watching Josh Allen, because you would think the main person that's been the issue for Josh Allen when it comes to the playoffs and making it to the Super Bowl is Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes was not in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes wasn't even in the play. My bad. Patrick Mahomes wasn't even in the playoffs this year. So Patrick Mahomes isn't in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson loses in the wild card against the Steelers due to a missed field goal by Tyler Loop. Right? You have that. Then no Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, who I don't think Justin Herbert was going to make any noise. We're going to talk about that too. Justin Herbert is also knocked out in the wild card round. Um, and so it's supposed to be a easy path to the Super Bowl. Not if you're Josh Allen though, because Josh Allen wet the bed. And I'm not a Josh Allen hater, but there is a thing that happens when people's fan favorite quarterback does not play well. It seems to me that nobody applies the same pressure and the same criticism to quarterbacks like Josh Allen, the quarterbacks that everybody likes. Now, I'm not making this a race thing. I'm not ever going to make this a race thing. But it's like everyone who has a fan favorite quarterback, he gets leeway. He gets, well, it's not his fault. He tried his best. But when it comes to a quarterback that's a little bit more controversial or who does a little bit of stuff on the outlier, it's all his fault. Lamar Jackson for the past 3 years in the playoffs has been the main consensus of why his team's been competent. Okay, in 2023 he went against the Chiefs in the playoffs. Do you know what happened when he went against the Chiefs in the playoffs? Zay Flowers fumbles the ball in a very key moment, loses them the game. Okay, did Lamar Jackson play great? I'm not saying Lamar Jackson was playing dominating, was playing all great, but still, you can look at those games and see that Lamar Jackson put his team in a realm to succeed, and unfortunately, it was not credited a win like many other quarterbacks should. Next year, 2020, what was that? 2022, 2023, 2024. Mark Andrews. Okay, they're going against the Bills. Mark Andrews gets a pass. This is to tie it. This is to go into overtime. What does Mark Andrews do? Mark Andrews drops the ball. He drops the ball. Okay, all pro tight end drops the ball. He drops the ball. Yet all that criticism and hate goes to Lamar Jackson. I don't even like Jalen Hurts. But when Jalen Hurts lost against the Eagles, a lot of people put a lot of pressure on Jalen Hurts, me included. So why can't we do the same for Josh Allen? I guarantee the media is not going to do the same for Josh Allen, even though they should. They're not going to do the same for Josh Allen. But Josh Allen deserves the same criticism and pressure that a lot of these other quarterbacks get. And I'm not even just saying it's a black quarterback thing, because Justin Herbert lost. Justin Herbert got criticism and slander, and Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Justin Herbert. I don't even think that's a controversial take. Josh Allen is a much better quarterback than Justin Herbert. Yet when Justin Herbert loses in the playoffs, Justin Herbert gets way more criticism than Josh Allen. Bo Nix, unfortunately, Bo Nix had a pretty good game. It was a very competitive game. It did go into overtime. One of the turnovers that Josh Allen had was a fumble, and it was to get, and that fumble was very key because it was supposed to get them into field goal range, and they were supposed to get that before the half. And unfortunately, due to the fact that he fumbled, they lost. They lost. They lost by three. So you can see how key though that those turnovers are when you're Josh Allen, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They say. Okay, so Bo Nix had 279 passing yards, three passing touchdowns, one interception. He had a better he outplayed Josh Allen, but unfortunately, Bo Nix broke a bone in his ankle and he will be out for the rest of the playoffs. He will not be able to play in the AFC Championship game unless unless by some miracle. They're not. So the Broncos are going into the AFC Championship against the Patriots without a quarterback, and it's looking like all hope is lost. Their backup quarterback is Jared Stidham. I don't haven't seen enough film on him to see if he's good, but by the way that people are describing this new turn of events, he's not that good. He's not that good. He's not the type quarterback that you trust going into these type situations. On the NFC side, and I'm going from the games that happened Saturday. Then we're going to talk about the games that happened Sunday. On the NFC side, the Seahawks absolutely curb stomped the 49ers, okay, 41 to 6. Sam Darnold was rumored to be injured, a bit injured before the game started, and he still played. He had kind of like a very mid lackluster performance, but the defense and run game definitely carried him. But I don't think he could play like this against the Rams, because even though the Rams has been kind of shaky through this whole playoff things, I still don't think you could play like that against the Rams. You're either going to have to lock in or play Jalen Monroe if you're not going to have a healthy Sam Darnold, because the Rams they are coming, and the Rams are my Super Bowl pick. I have Rams Patriots Super Bowl. I feel like that's a Super Bowl everybody will enjoy, and I feel like that's something that everybody should see. Sam Darnold, 124 passing yards, one passing touchdown, no interceptions. Good on his part. He went 12 of 17. He did not throw the ball much. It was more of a run heavy game due to the fact that, yeah, Sam Darnold was a bit injured walking into this game. Okay. Kenneth Walker had 145 passing yards, three receptions, and three passing touchdowns. I mean, not three passing touchdowns. He had three touchdowns. Kenneth Walker definitely was the unspoken hero for the Seahawks on the offensive side. The Seahawks defense is just demonic at this point. Okay, Ernest Jones had one interception. He had four solo, I think sacks or something like that. No, he didn't have no sacks, but he had an interception. Okay, Demarcus Lawrence, everyone on the defensive end played very good for the Seahawks. And I feel like that's the main consensus of why they beat the 49ers. Now, if you're the 49ers, I don't think necessarily you look at this badly, but you have an issue is that every time you guys do manage to get to the postseason, your team gets very injured. So I don't know if that's on the athletic staff, I don't know if that's on the training staff, I don't know on who that is. But you guys have got to figure something out because you guys just keep getting injured. It doesn't fail. The 49ers are a very injury prone team, and they played pretty good because the 49ers wasn't even looking like a playoff team, but they made it to the playoffs. But they keep getting injured. They beat the Eagles, but they just keep managing to get injured. And I think that's very much an athletic issue. I feel like that's something that needs to be that is something that needs to be fixed. If you are on the coaching staff, if you're looking at this as an owner perspective, something has to shake. Something genuinely has to shake to where you're not necessarily all you something has to shake to the point where something has to shake where you guys are not continuously just being injured when it comes down to playoffs and down when it comes down to crunch time where you guys are trying to make a Super Bowl run, because I feel like the 49ers could win a Super Bowl if they could stay healthy, but it's really not likely. Okay. Now we flip over to the Sunday Rams versus Bears. The Rams versus Bears was a pretty competitive game. I think Chicago, you should be looking at this season. You look at the season with pretty much a smile on your face. You basically got your franchise quarterback for the next couple of years. He's still a little young and he's still a little inexperienced. So hopefully that will pay dividends in the future and he will do better. Because Caleb Williams had a pretty solid game, 257 pass yards, two passing touchdowns, and he had three interceptions. Unfortunately, one of those key interceptions happened in overtime when they were going marching down the field. He was doing a pretty good job on the drive, but unfortunately, he threw a lackluster interception that basically was one of the key points that you could say cost them the game because Matthew Stafford and the Rams offense basically marched down the field, got the go ahead field goal, and they won, right? He played pretty good, but also, that's what I'm saying. The inexperience, you need experience going into the playoffs. If you're not a team that has been in these type situations before, it's very hard to prepare for these type situations. The Bears was a very big variant today in the NFL this year because nobody thought the Bears could do it. Nobody thought the Bears could even make the NFC. Nobody even thought the Bears was a playoff team, but Ben Johnson did a phenomenal job. He turned the entire situation around. Okay. Right on the Rams side, the MVP, in my opinion, Matthew Stafford had 258 passing yards, zero passing touchdowns, though. Very interesting. I thought that he did have at least a touchdown on that. But Kyron Williams ran. He had four receiving passes and two passing touchdowns, 117 rushing yards. So it was basically a very run heavy game. I don't know if that was due to weather or anything, but it was a very run heavy game. Um, Puka Nakua had 62 yards, five receptions. Devontae Adams, 24 yards, two receptions. So it wasn't necessarily like the big high flying game, but the Rams did manage to edge it out. But honest to God, I think that you can't play like that if you're the Rams. You can't play like that if you're the Rams going into the NFC Championship. Because if you see how the Seahawks played, that defense was hellacious. That defense was so good that it basically made the 49ers look incompetent. Even how as good as Christian McCaffrey is, it did not matter just because of how good that Seahawks defense is. So offensively, I want to say there's an issue, but offensively, you just got to kind of open the playbook a little bit if you want to be good, if you want to be competent against the Seahawks going into the NFC Championship game. My pick is Rams Patriots, obviously, but the Seahawks could win and we get Seahawks versus Patriots. I don't see in any realm how the Broncos could win this. I don't see in any realm how the Broncos can manage to you know, I don't I just don't see it. I do not see a possibility where the Broncos beat the Patriots to go on to win. They just can't do it in my opinion. I don't think they can do it with Jared Stidham. Maybe they try to get some free agent. Maybe they ask Cam Newton to come out of retirement just for the AFC Championship. You never know. But the Patriots are definitely going to be in the Super Bowl. Okay. Uh, this entire NFL season has been a bit weird. I feel like in a lot of people's eyes because all the teams you think that were going to be in the Super Bowl and in the playoffs, they're not. They're not in the playoffs and they're not going to be in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs were not there. The Bengals are not there. The Eagles was not there. But the fact that the Patriots are actually potentially going to win another Super Bowl after having this rebuild year, where it really only took them below 5, 6 years to properly rebuild, and now they're an AFC Championship team, is insane. Shout out Mike Varble. He's doing a great job as a head coach. Drake May is a good quarterback. Okay, he's a good quarterback. He's still young. He's still inexperienced. So I think that might cost him if we're talking Super Bowl. AFC Championship, he's definitely going to win it. They're going to the Super Bowl. Winning the Super Bowl is going to be different against Matthew Stafford and the Rams because Matthew Stafford has been there before and he's won there before. It's a little different this year because he doesn't have all the offensive weapons like Cooper Cup, Devontae Adams, and this, that, and the third. But also the Seahawks could win it as well. I feel like the NFC Championship game is probably going to be the most watched just due to how just how confusing and just how just how interesting that matchup truly is because you know Matthew Stafford doesn't have Cooper Cup, he doesn't have Odell Beckham, he doesn't have Aaron Donald on defense. So is Sean McVay going to really open up the offensive playbook and let Matthew Stafford let it fly, or is it just going to be a run heavy game? Because that Seahawks defense is demonic. It is very good. It's a very good defense. So I don't know what the game plan is, but my Super Bowl pick is Patriots versus Rams. I hope you guys let me know what your Super Bowl pick is. Let me know down below what your Super Bowl pick is because my Super Bowl pick is Patriots versus Rams.